Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Good morning, my friends. Hail and welcome. This is Sunday Morning Tea and Tarot. I'm Valerie Friend. You can find me at valeriefriend.com and on Facebook and Instagram and on Patreon, where you can support the work. Here's a little warning. Tea and Tarot can be a little sweary, and that may be the case today. So make sure you have your earbuds if you don't want your little people to hear the sweariness. So good morning. Good morning to my sister Dee Dee. Hey. And Ramona's here. And Erica's here. Good morning. Hi, Kathy Bushnell. Hi, Dora. And Elaine is here. Who else? Hey, Kimmy and Kelly. Good morning, Lori. Good morning. Good morning. Do a little like and share right now so we can appease the Facebook gods and they will smile their algorithms in our direction. Besides, it's a really good message. You're going to want this one. So do me a solid like and share. So we are in the disseminating moon phase currently. The moon is in Leo. It's going to be there for a couple days. And then we have a Libra or a Leo, Virgo, Libra progression through the moon phases this week. The last quarter moon is happening midweek, and solstice is on Saturday. So it's a big week. It's the final descent. We are willingly, consensually descending to the underworld, and we're using the energy of this disseminating moon to get some things done this week. According to Silver Raven Wolf, where's my book? Good, a little Yule gift suggestion, The Witching Hour by Silver Raven Wolf. Really good book for magical timing. The last quarter moon is the time where we need to find logical, viable solutions. And the solutions lie this week in clearing out, both psychologically and physically, and you're going to see it in the cards. So we're clearing everything out this week.
See it in our house too, man. Jesus.
Hi, honey.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning, babe?
I'm doing all right. It's kind of nice to be in one home.
Welcome home, baby. So as we head into prayer, I want you to call in the four elements: earth, my body; water, my blood; air, my breath; fire, my spirit. Breathe into yourself as sacred. Starhawk calls this the fifth sacred thing. I want you to open up your root chakra and your crown. Breathe in. Give clear space to this time and this moment and this message. You don't need to scroll. You don't need to distract. I want you to gift yourself this time, this message, this reading. as we open the channel of divine love and light to bring forth this message for Sunday morning tea and tarot. I ask that our guides, angels, light beings, and ancestors show up, surround us with love and protection, and bring forth messages that are clear, concise, and actionable, delivered for the good of all and the harm of none. And so we ask this in perfect love and perfect trust. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Good morning. Good morning. I always like to see who hops on during prayer. Hey, Ann. Hi, Lisa. Hey, Kate.
David's out there.
Hey, David. Good morning.
BJ.
Good morning, Sally and BJ and Dorothy. Ooh, Tessa McAdams. I don't think I've seen you in a while. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. If you just jumped on, do a little like and share if you're called, okay? So here we go. We do Sunday morning tea and tarot in 3 parts: the swirl, the path, and the illumination. And sweeties, my darlings, stick around for the illumination, okay? Because that's where the magic happens this week. Just a little sneak peek and a teaser. So the swirl this week, we are going to start off the lineup with the Tower reverse. Fucking let it go already, okay? Like, release what needs to go. Trying to hold on to that stuff is not working out. It's detrimental to your own lived remembering who you are and what you came here to get done. So what is it that you need to let go of right now? And I'm not saying that in a condescending or, like, what do you need to let go? Just let it go. I'm asking you to really get in touch with what needs to be released for transformation in your lived experience. Yes, it was shocking. Yes, it may have been an affront to your, day-to-day, business as usual kind of way of life. Yes, it was abrupt and life-changing. Now, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to honor it? What are you going to do to integrate it as the necessary lesson that it was? What could you be liberated from this week? Big questions, right? I'm getting all tingly right now. If there's something in particular that this makes you think of right now, put it in the comments. When we get to card pulls, we can draw from that and take it deeper. What is it? If you write it down in the comments, or you can even, just write it down in your journal for talking about later. When you write it down, you start that process of healing. Writing things down, and not in the notes on your phone. I know I'm going to be a little bossy today. Get out an actual pen or marker and write it down. Write it down. You're going to do something with it later. Okay? The Tower reverse is followed by the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, because the tendency may be grasping, hoarding, being fiscally on what? Throwing money at stuff. I know how to make this better. I'm just going to toss some cash in that direction. Refusing to ask for help. And then what often happens when the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse and she won't ask for help, then she starts looking at all the little people who didn't come to her aid. She didn't ask them to do anything, but they didn't come, and she's pissed about it. This could be especially crunchy in that last quarter moon about midweek in Virgo. Just remember that. So I want you to get busy with the banishing of the shit. Outmoded attitudes and beliefs. Purge the crap that you don't need. Keep people that tend to incite your wounds on the outer circle this week, or out of your orbit entirely. Like who needs to be put on hold? Do you know that feature on Facebook where you can snooze somebody for 30 days? Who do you need to go through and snooze for 30 days? Not just on Facebook, but in your actual real life. Because here's the deal. You're only going to use them to confirm your fears and ignite your resentments and get your panties all in a wad and act like an asshole. So snooze. If you snooze, you won't lose. I'm revising everybody's shit today. Last card in the swirl this week is the Five of Swords reversed. And I heard this as the Queen using others as an excuse this week. If you're doing that, failure is assured. Okay? It's a goddamn truth. So get out your symptoms list. All right? Like, what are the symptoms of these three cards?
Wait, what was the last one?
Five of Swords reversed. So we're starting out with the Tower reversed. Then we have the Queen reversed. Then we have the Five of Swords reversed. 3 reversals, lots of blocked energy, but also lots of opportunity for clearing and releasing. When you know better, you do better, right? So here's your symptoms list. Are you feeling thoughtless? Like you just don't give a shit anymore. And you're like, well, I don't even care. I'm gonna give them, this old pair of socks that I got at a conference that I hate anyway. And I'm just gonna hand those out as gifts because who gives a fuck? If you're blaming other people, that's a big symptom this week. If you're tactless, let me explain this one a little bit, because often it looks like, well, I'm just telling you the truth. And if I wouldn't say it to you, nobody else would. And really what you're doing is saying some mean shit. So the Queen of Pentacles upright, when she needs to tell somebody the truth, she thinks it through and is like, what are the words I need to use to bring somebody to a more full understanding of this situation, behavior, thought pattern, fill in the blank. But when she's in reverse, she's, she's like, oh, let me tell you how to fix your life. I'm not going to look at myself, but let me just tell you how to fix your life. And I'm going to do it in a little snarky way. So really you're going to feel bad, but I'm going to say, hey, I'm just speaking the truth, So put it on your symptoms list if you have that tendency. Being destructive to yourself or others. I'll show you, I'll hurt myself, or I'll show you because you deserve it. Causing chaos instead of releasing what needs to go. Throwing a binky fit about what's going on in your lived experience. You may totally deserve, you get to like be mad about stuff, but if you're just stirring the pot in order to like cause a bunch of nonsense, that's the symptom. It's not fair and it's your fault. That's like the battle cry of the Queen of Pentacles in reverse in my book. This is all crap. And hey, you caused it. This is seriously a good week for a funeral pyre. Let me tell you a little bit about that. Remember how I said write it down? Those tower things that have been hanging around and you can't release it and you can't do anything about it. You're just pissed about it and spraying your bad nonsense all over the place. Write them down on a piece of paper with an actual pen and burn that shit. That's your funeral pyre. Release it with honor and gratitude for the lessons. Release it in a way that feels cathartic and healing. Banish those things that just have no more room in your life. Hey, like this is it. We're headed into the final descent. Solstice is Saturday, and the blessed light will return. I promise. But you gotta move some stuff out of the way. Silver Ravenwolf also says on the power of the last quarter moon, where's my quote? Bring the hammer down on what must be removed. Bring the hammer down on what must be removed. Okay? You're going to do a little surgery. Take those five swords and use them as surgical tools to remove that which needs to go. So here's the path. Here's how we're going to get it done this week. First card up is the Ten of Wands reverse. And when I pulled this card, I really heard this is where you take responsibility for yourself. All right? You're not like carrying everybody else's burdens this week. You're taking responsibility for yourself first. What needs to be done and who will do it? Make your lists, like sit down with your family or tomorrow with your work group, get your list together, and then work on your list. Don't monitor everybody else's list. Don't judge their process or product. Give encouragement, but be careful with the criticism this week. Stay in your own lane. What is your own work this week? So let's ask, the Queen of Pentacles upright. What knowledge and tools do I need to work on my own list? What needs to be in my calendar and on my to-do list? And what needs to be off my calendar and off my to-do list? How is your energy level? And how will you have on hand in your little toolkit the tools that you need for your own self-care first? Remember, you put the oxygen mask on first, not to just save yourself at the expense of everyone else, but so that you're actually an effective person in the world, in your family, in your work, in your studies, in your lived remembering. Okay, so put that oxygen mask on, but then do the things with it. Self-care helps keep us balanced and healthy and strong and well so that we can do the doing, all right? Not so we can just be strong and healthy and courageous and all that kind of stuff. And so, I'm going to use all my great stuff to play another round of solitaire on my phone. No, it's like do your list. You take care of yourself so you can do your list. Amy's got her hand up.
You need to read what Kate Woven just wrote. You see it in the feed?
I can't. Can you read it aloud?
Not my circus, not my monkeys, not my monkeys. My monkeys fly. This week's mantra.
Yes, call in your flying monkeys, right? But, let everybody do their own stuff and you do your list. And that doesn't mean you don't get together at the end of the day and say, hey, what did you check off your list today? Let's all give 3 cheers. That kind of thing is great. Encouragement is great. So what kind of self-care are you going to have on hand this week? Tip, make it real self-care, not bullshit self-care. We're not talking about self-indulgence and labeling it self-care. We're actually talking about self-care, okay? I just want to say that if supporting other people is part of your job, and it is for all of us in some way, part of our job is to support other people in our lived, circle, swirl, all that kind of stuff. So if taking care of people is part of your job, how can you actually be supportive rather than take over-y? okay? If it seems codependent, it is. If it seems smothery, it actually is. If it seems judgmental, it is. And if it seems blamey, it is. So this week, strategy number one, this is for me. If it resonates with you, it can be for you too. But it's like, you got to take that pause. If you've listened to anything by Brene Brown or read her work, she's got this spinner ring thing that she turns 3 times before she answers. So you can say, is this feeling codependent? Spin, 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 think it over. Yeah. So you've got to take a pause before you move into action, because the next card is the Chariot. All right. Clear purpose, balanced action. These will be your friends this week. We're going to be asked for self-control and willpower. That's why you got to take the seconds after the question or the incident or whatever to breathe and not react and formulate like a really good response that is in your own lane and of your own making. All right. Self-control and willpower, clear, focused action. In the Wildwood deck, this is the Archer. And I love this. Look at this beautiful image here. Like in her own lane, for sure, she has the tool of, survival and defense and, aiming for the mark, getting it right, taking it. If you're an archer and you just like pull your arrow back and release it, you have no control. You have no focus. But if you take those minutes to like breathe, a lot of times you'll see people who do aiming types of work, like archers or marksmen of any kind. They'll close their eyes for a moment, center themselves within, open your eyes, put your eye on the mark, and then release your arrow. All right. So in the book, when I was just quickly reading through the Archer, that sits at spring equinox, by the way. So we're going from solstice to spring equinox here. The Celts actually wrote down spells with an actual writing implement and then wrapped them around their arrows to shoot off into the cosmos. Okay, so you might want to think about that. The last card in the path is the Lovers reversed. Okay, and as I heard this morning, it was just a very simple message. Be mindful of your choices this week. What are you aligning with? Here's the questions to ask yourself. Am I operating from my wound statement? Am I comparing my work to someone else's in an unfavorable way? Am I scrolling through Pinterest or Instagram and saying, oh, look, everybody has a better life than me? Or it could be the other way around. Are you comparing yourself and being smug about it and thinking, I could do better than that? Because that's the double edge of the sword, right? If you are refusing to make a choice, you're making a choice. You're making a choice to live in the resistance of the tower. You're resisting the lessons. So take a moment, take that pause to align. Breathe in earth, air, water, fire, spirit. Open your eyes, set your sight on the mark, release your arrows. Here's the illumination. I told you, it's not all bad news. This is very important work, and here's why. So the first card that came out for the illumination was the Queen of Wands. And when it's not a major arcana, I tend to be called to draw to the major arcana. And it was really right next to her was the Magician, okay? So the Queen of Wands and the Magician are teaming up to conjure new ideas and spells of beauty, prosperity, and joie de vivre. This week, we have to proceed with care into the realm of warmth in winter and magic in the face of adversity. All right, that tower, the tower moment. Do that funeral pyre at midweek. Make good choices. Lay your magical plans for the next moon cycle. Get your calendar out. Virgo loves this. The moon will be in Virgo, I think like Wednesday, Thursday. Virgo loves this. Last quarter moon in Virgo. You know, make a plan for the next moon cycle. Before you do that, though, do the clearing out. Use Leo's fire to purge, okay? What do you want to draw into your lived remembering? What mastery will you employ? What do you need to learn in order to make your most potent spell work, to create magic? What do you need to know about yourself in order to lay to rest the rubble of the tower? All good questions, right? I have so many more questions than answers this week. So together, we're going to fill in the answers. How can the Queen of Fire comfort the fallen Queen of Earth? How can she inspire and motivate her to get her ass upright?
How can the Queen of Fire comfort
the Queen of Earth in reverse? We're going to call her the fallen queen this week. She's fallen and she needs help getting up. And here's the Queen of Wands saying, I will help you. And by the way, that cast you have on your broken leg, we're going to decorate it with flower power. So here are some of my suggestions for how the Queen of Wands can comfort the fallen queen this week. I would love to hear some of yours. There's a call to action button in the broadcast, feed area for Tarot for Real Life, which is our Facebook group. And if you haven't joined, maybe today's the day, you could post yours there, because we all need to offer our best suggestions, our most creative and passionate and uplifting action steps for how we got through it so that other people can do it too. So give where you can give, receive where you need to receive. That's how we help the fallen queen. So here's mine. As you're clearing out things, what can you sell or trade, to bring in the prosperity, to get the financial stuff online? What does your Queen of Fire need that you can trade something for, or you can barter, or you can offer a service in exchange for? That might be a really good way to work with that Virgo energy midweek. What can you repurpose and mend in a really kind of pleasing way? So instead of just getting the job done, maybe you're going to have a little patch. Maybe you're going to do a little embroidery. Check out some of the YouTube videos on how to do, pretty mending. They're pretty impressive, and they're not that hard. You can, and a lot of folks take you through the step-by-step process. So maybe you can do a little pretty embroidery to fix some of your clothing or quilts or something like that, and make it more beautiful, which will help the Queen of Pentacles, because she doesn't need to throw money at it. She needs to be creative in her approach this year. Another thing is do something to actually balance your elements. So you could look at your natal chart, I like to look at my rising sign. It sets up the house system. Look at your natal chart though, and see what you have. Do you have an abundance of fire? Do you have not enough fire? Do you have too much earth and not enough air? Just look at where you tend to have a deficiency in elemental resources. Because remember, that magician, he's got the tools, the wands, the pentacles, the cups, and the swords. All four elements are represented on the magician's altar. So, get your elements in balance. Maybe you're going to do a little chakra clearing as you're doing your physical clear out of your space. On a more practical level, when I talk about the magician and bringing air and water to our fire and earth, because when we get fire and earth together, and that's what we've got with these two queens, things get parched and dried out, okay? So what you want to add this week is air and water, perhaps. So make sure when you're doing the cleaning and clearing process, vacuum or sweep the area. Get all the debris out. Don't half-ass it. Do a nice little sweep out, and then wash the spaces. There's the water. The sweeping and the vacuuming is the air. The cleaning and the washing of the space is the water. So you're adding that to your fire and earth. See what I mean? This will make a clear and clean space for your magician's altar. And I highly recommend, I know it's my practice, so please know that I tend to the bossy. Build an altar this week. Build a spell. Build a dream. Build a punch list. Build a plan. Build an adventure. Build a piece of artwork. Build a poem. Build a manifesto to the fifth sacred thing, to the guardian of your soul, to the realization of your remembered self. Build an altar. Build an altar. Build an altar. In however you do it, and any of these ways are precious. One is not better than the other. One is not worse than the other. What is required here is that you ask, you take aim, you stay in your own lane, you clear out the rubble, and you build a sacred moment in your lived experience this week, heading into solstice, heading into this final descent of hermiting season. Because after that, the light starts building again, and we'll be ready to launch our arrows, to write our spells, wrap them around our arrows, and launch them. Okay? This is what I've got for you. This is what I've got for you this week. Let me know how you love it or hate it, or all the feelings. All the feelings. So as Amy is lining up the list, number one, let us know if you're new. We love to pull cards for new people. I want you to consider supporting the work on Patreon. So for those of you who've been following Tarot for Real Life, my family has been in a little shitstorm basically for the last 10 weeks. So mama got to make some cash. So support the work on Patreon so I don't have to take so many sub gigs, because it takes me away. Gift certificates. Buy your gift certificates. You're going to give Yule presents this year. If you haven't done it already, maybe a reading is a really good Yule present to offer. Amy made up sweet gift certificates. We will mail them to you or send you a little PDF that you can print out, because if you're taking it down to the wire, you might not get it in the mail. Just saying. There is a solution. We'll send you a little PDF. You can print it out. All's well. And I just want to say that if you're a member of Tarot for Real Life, from now until the end of 2019, I'm taking 10% off of all my reading products. And if you're one of my sweet Patreon subscribers at the $16 level, my Moon Meditation Sacred Circle gets 20% off of all of my reading products. So that's good, right? The Queen of Pentacles upright would really dig that. She likes a good coupon, right? So consider supporting the work. It really helps. The last thing I want to tell you before we go into, actually there's two things, before we go into card pulls this morning, is that we are moving to YouTube. A bunch of my content is moving to YouTube. That does not mean that you will not have access to it here on Facebook, because people post YouTube posts all the time on Facebook, and you can get to it just as easily. Next week, I want you to all cross your fingers because next week we're going to try going live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time for Sunday Morning Tea and Tarot. It will be technological brilliance supported by my sweet wife, Amy Friend, and Eliza Peterson.
I was going to say, well, Eliza's got it going on.
We're going to figure this out. The other YouTube announcement is that 12 Days of Yule will be my YouTube hard launch. So Solstice on the 21st, you can expect our first 12 Days of Yule YouTube video. It will be posted on Facebook and in my groups, but that's happening. So Amy's going to put the YouTube link in the feed. She'll also put the Patreon link in the feed, and you can get there and show your support for the work. If you like Tea and Tarot, if you like my Facebook content, and you like my Instagram stuff, really, here's your call to action. Support your local witch, okay? And buy some gift certificates. All right, we're going to do some card pulls this morning. I am putting the Archer back into the Wildwood deck. So I have the Wildwood Tarot deck. Ryan and Matthews are the authors. Will Worthington is the illustrator. We've got that deck. I'm bringing out a deck I haven't had out in a long time. It's the Tarot of Trees, and I really love it. It's by Dana O'Driscoll. Here's the little box. Look at that. So cute. It's a little teeny tiny deck, and if you want a deck for your purse, this is a good one. You can just throw it right in there. It doesn't take up much space. I really like it. And then as an oracle deck today, I have Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Life deck. Here, I'll show you the front of the box instead of the back. All the portals in this deck. That's why I'm pulling it out. We are headed towards solstice. There's also an eclipse happening on December 26th. So portals, portals, portals. Step through. Don't hang on to that janky tower that needs to be, this is the condemned building on your street that needs to be torn down right now. That's what we're doing. All right, so those are the decks you can request. We won't get to everyone, but here we go. Honey.
How about Dorothy Raymond? She asks, will things get better at work?
Okay, and I am feeling this little tiny Tarot of Trees. Everybody show up for Dorothy right now. Surround her in the energy of the solution. Will things get better at work? This is kind of a yes or no question, and I hope we get a little more than a yes or no for you, Dorothy. And what I have is the Hierophant reversed. So Dorothy, wah, wah, wah. No, no. People are very invested in doing things the way they've always done them. They're resistant to change. Change agents often get thrown under the bus, is what I'm hearing for this card. So do what you need to do. You might want to reach out to Amy.
Yeah.
She knows a lot about this situation. Okay? Yeah. So short answer is no. Resistant to change. It sounds like work might be that janky tower that you're trying to hold up when it's time to like really get out there and start looking for a new opportunity. And this is a perfect time of year to do it. On solstice, you know, we're talking about building an altar and creating some magic with this beautiful Queen of Wands and the Magician. You know, what would bring beauty and effectiveness and, you know, confidence and fire to your work life? And how can you build an altar to that magic? How can you create a spell and a plan and a timeline? And, you know, how are you going to take care of yourself while you're doing it? These are all good things for you to think about today. I love you. Let us know how we can support you. Talk about it in Tarot for Real Life. We created this community for a reason, not so you can scroll and consume, but so you can connect and find what you need. All right? So use your tools. All right, who's next, babe?
How about Tessa McAdams?
Tessa McAdams, yes. Any question?
She asks, how do I let my adult children do their own thing and I discover my life as an aging mom? That's a great question.
Isn't that a good question?
Oh, yeah.
You and I can talk. We could message about that. I am going to pull from the Wildwood deck, but I might have to do a Work Your Light Chaser on this one. And what I have for you here is this. It's the Eight of Vessels. Ryan and Matthews labeled this rebirth. And this really is a rebirth for you. Being the mother of adult children is very different than being the mother of children, okay? So the Eight of Vessels, if you remember in the traditional deck, this is one with the sad figure walking off towards the mountain and leaving the cups behind. So there is that release that needs to happen. Maybe part of your funeral pyre, and I will take this into my soul space too, is releasing the need to manage your adult children. You managed their lives for a long time, and it's really hard to get out of the habit of doing that. So, but this is a time when they have to like manage their own lives. You can support, you can help, but remember that list that we had about like, if it's smothery, it is. If it's codependent, it is. If it's enabling, it is. You know, you have to be honest with yourself. But here's the rebirth for you. Don't resist the new role that you get to play. And here's the deal. Like, living into your own lived remembering and doing the things that are inspirational and enlivening to your own soul, being the magician of your life and allowing this creative queen to sort of drive the show this week, it's going to be super helpful to you. So maybe consider doing the funeral pyre, but also what if you built an altar to your new role as the mother of adult children? However, they're in various stages of adulting or not adulting. How about if you just dream it up and build an altar to that? Who do you want to be? What do you want your kids to actually see you doing? How can you let like innovation and fun and beauty and magic lead the way in your life right now. And what an inspiration that will be to your children someday. Probably not immediately, because they might get a little pissed about you living your own life, even though they want to live their own lives. It's a lovely little paradox we're in. And again, reach out to people on Tarot for Real Life. Like myself and many other people are parents of adult children. And it's really good to get that kind of support, because oftentimes at this stage in our lives, we forget what the fuck we ever wanted to do before we started taking care of these people. Like, what did I want to be when I was a maiden? And then I became a mother and I put that on the back burner. The Queen of Wands really wants you to get that out and dust it off, okay? That's what I've got for you. My sister in the struggle. Who else do we have, baby?
Elaine Springer says, good morning, Valerie.
Good morning, Elaine.
This is Genevieve. I would love a card if you can.
Yes, Genevieve. Does she have a question?
I don't see it in the feed, but I might have missed it.
Okay, Genevieve, I'm pulling a card for you from the Tarot of Trees. And this is a really cool deck if you want to get your little hands on this one. Genevieve is Genevieve 10 now? I think she might be. Watch, she'll be 11 or something and I'll have missed a whole year. Then she'll be mad. So what I have for you, Jen, is the Hanged One, the inverted tree. And this is where you kind of feel like your feet are in the air and maybe you're upside down in some things, some friendships, some projects. Maybe you've got some things you still need to get done before Yule, solstice, Christmas, Hanukkah, any of those kind of things. But here's the deal. You got to take a nice pause and make a plan first. You don't just want to jump into it because of the reading today. Like, what do you have that needs clearing out and making way? I know that you are probably going to be getting some new things around the holidays. What is it that it's time to get rid of and repurpose? Think about it. Think about what you can get rid of, what you can move on to somebody who would really enjoy it. Look at things in a different way, Have a look at the clothes that are in your closet and be like, is this something that I'm going to wear? Is this something that I just keep around? Whatever. You can pass that on to somebody else. Likewise, while you're sitting patiently and waiting, because the inverted tree is all about that, sitting patiently and waiting, for a new perspective, some new things to come swirling into your life, you could be doing things like sewing buttons on that maybe fell off some of your clothes, or learning how to crochet and create something beautiful. Taking that old sweater that's too small for you now and cutting the sleeves off them, making a little hem around the edges, and you've got a pair of leg warmers, my friend. So think about what you can do during the patient waiting time. Don't be afraid to stick your feet up in the air. Do a headstand. Do some yoga. Downward dog. Get yourself into a new spot to think new things and do new things with the old stuff that's lying around. And if there's nothing to be done with it, look at where you can pass it along and donate it to somebody else. Okay, sweetie? I was so glad you were on this morning. I think that this sounds like a fun project week for you. And you only have a few more days of school, so you're going to have some time to do this stuff. Yay!
How about a card for Kelly Sardella?
Kelly Sardella, yes.
She asks, she could use the card. She's feeling some doubt about sharing her gifts. She would love creating, yet fear seeps in.
Well, yes, it always does. It always does. So number one, Kelly, you're so good at this too. I want you to take some of that stuff that you have and create a beautiful altar to your creativity and your courage and your brilliance and your magic. All right? So that's number one. I'm going to pull from the Work Your Light deck, because this is a portal. And Kelly, here's the truth with kindness thing. You like to run through the portal and then run right out the back door, and then run through again and out the back door, and you give yourself such crap for doing it. And, it's just your process, sweetie. And here's the card that I have for you. The Age of Light. You have been training for this for lifetimes. This is your true purpose. This is your calling. Are you going to treat it like a calling? Or are you going to treat it like some little hobby you dabble in whenever you feel confident? Confidence is a weird little thing, isn't it? It's like we get confident. Brene Brown describes this so well. She talks about the dichotomy between, ooh, look at you being too big for your britches, and, ooh, who do you think you are? Okay, so when you try to do something stupendous, and we know that you are capable of so many stupendous things, in fact, you've been training for them for lifetimes, those messages kick in. They're like, ooh, look at you thinking you're going to do something awesome. And then who do you think you are to bring the magic? That's always the question confronting the egos of witches, right? Like, oh, you think you're the great and powerful Oz, do you? Or who are you to create the magic? You're just some woman, that likes crystals and, builds pretty altars, and there's not really very much value in that. Those are crap. Those are crap. You've been training for this for lifetimes, not just this lived experience, but many, many, many before. All right? So sit in your tower of power, not the rubble of your bullshit. Sit in your tower of power, and do what you do. Do what you do. Make it simple. Don't get caught up in that whole perfectionist vibe that we can get grabbed on by. Just sit in your tower of power and build some magic. Just do it. It's okay. It's okay just the way you do it. Whether you run in and out of the portal or not, when you're in the tower of power, create. When you're not, dream about creating. Just don't give yourself a bunch of crap is what I'm hearing for you. But you've been training for this for lifetimes. Just do what you're called to do when you're called to do it, all right? And give yourself a break the rest of the time. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be a snotty little Queen of Pentacles reversed. Use that Queen of Wands to comfort her, all right? That's what I've got for you today. I love you. I love you so much. Let me know if I can support you.
I'm really feeling there's something special about this time of the year, this week maybe in particular, that I always think of our dear friend Sin. And she hasn't asked for a card, but I would love it if you could pull a card for her about, what's going on this week, and
sure,
how to approach the next year, or
sure. We're going to pull a random card for Sin, and this one popped right up. 3 of Wands. Get a broad view of things. Look at those beautiful trees standing up on the hill where they can get a better view. Take the long view, not what's right here. Because day to day we can get bogged down. This is about creating a strong and powerful vision for yourself. The Queen of Wands is definitely going to be helpful. She's the queen of this suit. So let her lead the way. Don't get bogged down in any of that liar bullshit of the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Clean and clear that kind of stuff away so you can get a nice broad perspective. 3 of Wands is my favorite pip card. And, do something mind broadening and expansive right now. Have a far reaching look. Sure, there are going to be mountains. Sure, there's going to be the clouds of confusion. That's part of the picture. But there's the free running water. There are green hills to be lain upon and the grassy knolls to rest within. Take a broader look. Then the challenges, the mountains and the clouds, don't seem so daunting because you'll be able to see everything in the view. Go find some trees. Align your spine with the trunk. Feel your roots grounding down and your branches reaching upward. Really align with that far-reaching energy. Trees have the vantage point of centuries rather than years and months and weeks and even decades, okay? So go to the grandmothers, ask. You'll get an answer, I promise, 100%. All right, we have time for one more quick one, babe.
All right, how about BJ Batzer?
BJ!
BJ asks if things will be okay with the issue that she's been going through with her granddaughter.
Okay. So the issue with your granddaughter, let's all surround BJ in an energetic cauldron of love and clarity. Really connect to the solution. 5 of Bows, empowerment, BJ. This is what I am feeling for you. So, and this is really coming as more of a channeled message for you right now. But the empowerment that you seek right now, it has to be grounded in action. Not creating conflict, but planned, thoughtful, reasonable, respecting your own lane. Grandparents have rights, absolutely, but grandparents also have the responsibility of stepping back and letting everybody live their own lived experience, which is hard with grandchildren, especially if they're in a crunchy situation, because we think we're supposed to go in there and fix it. What you're doing is offering your granddaughter the tools of empowerment. How can she be more effective in her life? And all you can do is lay the bows down in front of her. You can't get her to pick them up and use them. You can't pick them up for her and use them in her behalf. Do the right thing, shed the right light, set the right example, use your own personal lived experience as an example to your granddaughter. Take no shit, but be in your own integrity, in your own lane with this. You know what it is that you can affect change around and what you are powerless over in this situation. Once again, I want to take us back to that Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Are you being smothery? Are you being codependent? Are you being a bystander? Are you being a know-it-all? Are you living your life for somebody else instead of with somebody else? Ask yourself all the questions. Revisit your wound statement. What is it that you operate out of that is a wound in this situation? And then you're going to have to get creative And I am really hearing for you this building of an altar of, maybe you want to call in protection. Maybe you want to call in, I don't know, quick and accurate consequences that bring things to everybody's attention. I don't think it's going to be smooth. We've got that Tower reverse to contend with this week. And then we've got this, fallen Queen and the Five of Swords following that. This is hard stuff. This is hard stuff. What is your lane? Where can you stay in your own lane and be part of the solution at the same time? That's what I have for you, BJ. I love you. I love you. I love you. Let me know if I can put you in my Reiki and healing practice this week. I would love to do that. Hold you in my prayer practice and your granddaughter. But we're going to start with you, okay? Put your own oxygen mask on first so that then you can help. All right. That's what I've got for us this week. Amy,
for those
hand up again. She's raising the hand.
For those that are in the area, we're going to have an open house on Solstice, right?
Yeah, we're going to do a little potluck dinner for Solstice next Saturday. So if you would like to make a dish and come to Solstice, be on the lookout for the Facebook invite that I'm going to be doing. Because it is going to be, so the moon will be in Virgo the middle of this week. And that means I need to have some lists because I don't want, 80 pounds of brownies and no protein to eat, okay? So we are going to make a list of who's bringing what kind of things. You don't need to nail it down until the last moment, but are you going to bring a main dish? You're going to bring a side? You're going to bring drinks? You're going to bring dessert? You're going to bring candles? What will you bring to make the solstice beautiful and special here? And we'll probably do some sort of live from the solstice festivities, just because it's fun when we have some of our local witches join together. Maybe we'll sing a solstice song together. Wouldn't that be cool? All right. So I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And if you love my work, Tea and Tarot, you want to support our move to YouTube, you want to make this message more broadly available, consider supporting the work on Patreon. It is a super helpful tool for me to get this work done and get the message out regularly. I've been bringing a weekly message to Facebook now for about 2.5 years. And I've only missed a couple of Sundays in that time. I think less than 5, actually. So if you're called to support the work, today would really be the day. Buy your gift certificates. Book a reading for yourself. Remember putting on your own oxygen mask first. If you wanted some guidance on how to get these queens working together, a nice little 30-minute reading would be a really good plan. So yeah, I love you. I love you. I love you. I will actually see you tomorrow morning for morning cards. And then Melissa's going to be here on Friday. Oh. So the day before solstice, we'll hear from MMB. And I am totally looking forward to that. All right, my darlings. I'll see you tomorrow morning.